PartinG. In the Clan Clown, of course. Scarlett representing her actual team at Newbie. It's a good one. It's a good one to actually represent your team in these big qualifiers, you know? Some say the team's like that. Bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player from Newbie. Give it up if you're cheering on Scarlett. Did PartinG just say, oh my god. Top left, our blue Protoss PartinG. Scarlett opens with the good luck, and PartinG just says thanks. Not even you two. Nothing else like that. My god, well, I mean, already a spicy start to the first matchup here today. This ZvP getting underway then. Let's have a look to see what will happen. Like I said, Scarlett oftentimes looks to play very aggressively, looks to play a bit cheeky in their ZvPs. And that's when I feel she is truly at her best. Scarlett was able to take down PartinG in 2019, both times that they played in the GSL qualifier and also in a Chinese tournament. 3-0 against maps in 2019, and that was after PartinG had beaten her 3 times in a row, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0 in a bunch of different events. Scarlett and PartinG first played in the WCS 2012 World Championship playoffs in 2012. Guys, can we get some Fs in the chat for WCS? But some hypes in the chat for the new ESL Pro Tour. How exciting! If you weren't here for my pre-show, I've already been on the hype train throughout about all of that. So, yeah, just crazy. I mean, to think that these guys played in the first ever WCS Championships. And here they are now, 8 years later, or I guess 7 and a bit years later, really. Still playing StarCraft 2, still some of the favorites in the game. Absolute legends of the game. I mean, how many times can you talk about amazing moments PartinG had? When PartinG came in, you know, used the Ruler Sniper against Flash in Pro League. You know, so many amazing moments. He's a fan favorite for a reason. And then Scarlett, you know, her rise in IPL. Just, you know, her runs in WCS events, her final winning of an event. Just, again, a fan favorite, revolutionizing the Zerg matchup. PartinG revolutionizing the Protoss matchups for Ralph the Soul Train. Way back when in the WCS Championships. As we set this up, we get this going. Stalker will start to pick away at the Overlord here. Scarlett taking some damage early, and that is an Overlord that's going to get pushed away to the high ground. And that, for the moment, will stay alive as PartinG makes his first tech choice of the series. A Robo Facility dropping down. And just a reminder, guys, these are going to be best of 3s until the qualifying matches. Qualifying matches are best of 5. Everything else, best of 3. Couple of Zerglings back down through the center, passing by that watchtower. The Stalker coming along as well. And that Zergling speed will, again, not be far from finishing up here. As the third hatchery, about halfway done from Scarlett. Going to be seeing a full wall up from PartinG. And they're already fast Immortal. PartinG going to get aggressive early in the game. And for Scarlett, the first challenge here is going to be scouting this and figuring out what's going on. Because this is a really fast Immortal. Not even a Warp Prism first, not an Observer. Immortal right away. And already the extra gates starting to come on down. That's 4 gates in total that PartinG goes up to. Scarlett starts a Lash, she starts a Rotron. Her scouting is limited because she knows this Overlord is in trouble. It took damage early from the Stalker, so if it tries to get to the main, it's just going to be shot down. So is it worth trying to scout? Probably not until you get the Lair, morph it into an Overseer, and then it's going to be a little bit faster moving to get into that main base and actually pick up information instead of being shot down dead before seeing anything. But by then, it's going to be so late, you know. These gateways are going to be done, and all the rest of it. The rest of the gates just coming up here and just going to see the Prism popping down, getting set. Wow, PartinG, way to open this series, just masses of aggression. A few Lings trying to pick up info at the front, seeing the sentries is nice. This Overlord being scouted for by PartinG, looking for that high ground. A little bit of an army from PartinG coming out, then a couple of Zerglings going down, 7 Roaches on the way up right now. So Scarlett starts to realize, okay, this is an attack. I see a very early Immortal, I see a Prism. I have to respect this. The other thing Scarlett knows, no gases on the natural. And the longer she doesn't see those, the more she knows that this is a big attack coming across the map right here, right now. PartinG is about to arrive onto the group spread, and Scarlett, well, she's been making units for a while. Only 42 drones seems like a reasonable number. This is only 1 Immortal, so it's not a lot of punch in this kind of fight. As we do see the army coming down to the bottom side, some extra zealots warping in. Just going to see this queen already being picked away. A couple of force fields dropping down. Ravager's going to be corrosive bowing down the force fields. So first force field's going down. There's not a lot of sentries here either. Only 4, and one of the high energy sentries is being picked away by a queen. The target fire not there now, but these zealots are getting picked off without doing much. Scarlett coming down, bringing her queens as well. The warp prism staying very safe and very far away. Some lings are going to try and get in on the sentries, and they will start to drop. But Scarlett, she is having some trouble. A couple of zealots picking up drones on the third base. But now look at this army. Yes, it's getting larger, but it's also getting weaker. There's no force fields left over, so there's less to stop these units from getting us around and actually getting on top of these units. The Ravagers are going to get a bit more involved and maybe able to push that warp prism back, maybe able to stop it from warping in, depending on how many corrosive battles. You can see PartinG very careful here. Pulls the prism all the way over to the left-hand side, making sure it's nowhere near those Ravagers. There's now a few more corrosive battles coming down on this army. They do connect, and that Immortal now getting low. Wow, that Immortal is very low. And like I said, this army is just not as good anymore. PartinG is going to kill the third base, but how many units can he save? Well, not too many, I don't think. Obviously, the Immortal and maybe the Sentry. No, the Sentry went down as well. Few of these Stalks being saved too. Warping on the high ground, so Scarlett can't see it, doesn't know the prism is there, and now she has to be careful that she's not gone too far forward. She's lost the third hatchery, which means more than just a lack of economy, it means no lava off that third base, and that's really costly too. That high ground play of the prism is amazing, because if that prism is anywhere else, Scarlett corrosive bars it down instantly. But not able to do that, Scarlett pulling back towards the front, third hatchery rebuilding. The loss of the hatchery is big, but she came a big time picking off units towards the end there, as she will see the warp prism on the map. But that warp prism might have to go home, because if nothing else, PartinG might need that warp prism to micro. He's only got the one Immortal at home. He has not been mining too much, he's not been putting too much into tech here at all. He's just now starting to build the Twilight Council. Scarlett actually cancelled the lair earlier, and never really built into that. Obviously just trying to get as many resources as possible to defend this initial attack. Knew it wasn't DTs or anything, so didn't need an Overseer. Here we go now, just a few corrosive battles already at the front. And Scarlett with that third hatchery on the way back up, she can apply pressure here. Remember, she's keeping PartinG from a third base as well. And she's obviously not trading badly. These Stalkers getting stuck at the front, and corrosive battles are connecting once again. Zerglings now coming through, and, well, it's hard, right? The Zealots will choke up the back point of this. Corrosive battle's going to unpower the pylon, stop the warp in. Suddenly 2 of these gateways without power on them. And that Immortal is still in trouble as well. It's just the Ravagers with so many vials available, able to do so much damage here. Charge continuing on up as the Ravager's going to corrosive battle away once again. Gateway gets picked off. And again, Scarlett, what I really love now is she's still making units, which I'm a little worried about. But at the same time, she knows PartinG is only on 2 base, so if she truly believes she's trading well enough here, that might not matter too much. There's the Dark Shrine, so again, at some point, the Lair and the Overseers are necessary. Also, Roach Speed would obviously go a long way. I just feel like right now, Scarlett's done a lot, but I feel like I'd just be so much more comfortable if she just went back and built a few extra drones, right? Does she immediately need to stay here and keep fighting? No. Is there much more she can do apart from throw a few corrosive battles down on units? Not really. Now PartinG's going to be picking up units every time Scarlett pushes forwards, because he's not being choked up by the the gateways that were walling off his natural. Here we go. The Zerglings getting in front. Very important to keep those squishy Ravagers alive. They're very fragile, low HP, no armor tag like the Roaches. They're not good when they take damage, but that's what the Zerglings are for. Now Baneling Nest on the way as well, especially as you're going to have charge shots in play. Those few Banelings could go a long way to helping Scarlett out when it comes to a larger fight here. Resources lost is favorable to Scarlett, and that's why she's getting away with the lower worker count so far. So far, so good, as we're going to be seeing that Baneling Nest about halfway done. The army of Scarlett coming around to the bottom side. And now she is going to pull all the way back. She's added on a few drones here, but not too many. Still making a lot of units. The one thing that might catch her off guard, she has an Overseer, but that's it. There's no Spore Crawlers in the bases, so the Dark Templar have got potential to deal some damage at the moment. As they come down the right-hand side, heading in towards the main base, looking to deal some damage. And that's where, well, Scarlett's sword with the Zergling, so she's already moving towards the main. And this is, of course, where PartinG's just going to do absolutely nothing right away. He's going to try and drop on top of the Queen, but the Ravager, the Overseer is here. Loses 1 DT, very nearly a second. Lings across the map. Well, you don't want to fight this, of course. If anything, a run by into the natural would have been nice, but Scarlett distracted elsewhere. Now she has a DT in the third base, and this is where not having the Spore Crawlers becomes a little bit costly. but she's getting a second Overseer, so she can split these, Overseers up a little bit more. She's on 4 bases, just rebuilding a few of the drones that she's lost. Her army supply still looks comfortable, mostly because when you look at the tech of PartinG, it's only 2 Immortals. There's only going to be a couple of Archons here based on whatever you can afford in the DTs right away, and he's making sentries again, so he's very much so investing into a lot of gas. That's not going to be big offensive units. And that's just a sign that he's scared of the follow-up attack, because he knows he's going to have to force field to try and hold this off. If he wasn't, he would just build Temple Archives and Forge. He wants to play macro. He wants this game to go on. If he wasn't scared, he would just build those straight into high... He'd just bank the money for High Templars. Maybe warp in Zealots, keep the gas, and then build High Templars for the Archons. But yeah, if you're scared, that obviously doesn't work out. Corrosive Bowels will kill the Observer that's stalking Scarlett's army. Baneling's on the way up. She's still never built Roach Speed. She still hasn't gone into Bane Speed here. As she moves up this ramp, this might be a few too many Zealots for the Ravagers. And this is where the Banelings become very important. But with the Force Fields, it's very tough for those Banelings to connect. Obviously, the Ravagers can break those Force Fields down. PartinG doesn't have endless Force Fields here. Now he's having to run away. With the Banelings coming in, those sentries are big, big targets. And, well, more sentries walked in to try and help out them. But the Banelings are getting mixed into the rest of this. Sentries blowing up all over the place. And, well, the Ravagers now, there's not going to be that Zealot front line to get on top of them. So the Ravagers are going to pick away at the next few Immortals. Scarlett's taking down all the tech units here. There's only 1 Immortal left and a handful of Stalkers. Extra Zerglings showing up would make a pretty good fight on this. And she Corrosive Bowels the warping in Zealots. And there just isn't the power in this Protoss army. Scarlett is able to come out with the game number 1 victory. Up 1-0 in this best of 3. She starts the IEM Katowice qualifiers strong. We'll get into more of that later. Right now, up 1-0 in the top left-hand corner. Our red Zerg player from Newbie is Scarlett. Looking to try and fight back a little bit. Our blue Protoss, bottom right, PartinG. Second game of our series here as we set this up. Spawning pool will be dropping down. So that is Scarlett going to spawning pool first, already getting into a little bit of a safer opening. It's just in case PartinG has that tendency to cannon rush, so do some bits and pieces that are a little bit different. Hatchery dropping down from Scarlett in the natural. So this pool first really is just a safety play. And I'd say, you know, your return of investment on a pool first against PartinG a lot of the time is good. Maybe don't go pool first every single game, but mixing it in, it's got a good chance. Especially when he goes down a game, you might be like, okay, well, that was my first weird build kind of down. Maybe now, you know, get those cannons up and throw Scarlett off her game plan. Let's see. Let's find out, as we do have the Overlord from Scarlett heading down to the bottom right-hand side. Cybernetics Core getting going there as 6 Zerglings popping out of the main base. Hatchery on that natural expansion. And again, Scarlett just going down to the lower right as the Queen. Going to be popping from this main again in just a few short moments. So a little bit of aggression early, and because PartinG doesn't scout, the pool first does more than just keep you safe. And no scout from PartinG means that Scarlett coming across this map is already likely to deal damage. There's no Zealot early, it's just the Stalker on the way. He will have to pull probes to protect this pylon. Scarlett doesn't go yet. She waits for a moment. Okay, she's going to keep waiting. For what? The Stalker to come out and then maybe try and catch it or run by it? Maybe she's afraid. I mean, maybe she just wants to know what it is. I think when she sees it as it's a Stalker, she's going to move forwards. But the thing is, again, she gave up a lot of time here. Now she comes in. Now what does she go for? Does she go for the pylon? Is she just going to go for a couple of probes? She's just going for a couple of probes. So just going to try and get some worker damage done here. There's probe number 2 already. Probe number 3 going down. The target fire to get one more. Not quite there. The probe pull was good, and still 3 workers early. I mean, that would have been 3 drones from Scarlett that she would have built instead of the Lings. And it denies some mining time, etc. Overall, it's alright, I think. It's okay. Put on a little bit of early pressure. Fast Twilight Council will be a Dark Shrine opening. With the Dark Shrine opening, getting up and running here, Robo Facility coming through, obviously you're looking to go in toward a Warp Prism, get those Dark Templar drops across the map, turn them into Archons as well, if the DTs can't do much of their own, and go from there. Now Scarlett starts a nice fast lair. Last game, remember, she cancelled that lair when she saw the aggression coming, when she saw no gases on the natural, and that's one of the main things she'll watch out for here. But in about 20 seconds, PartinG should start taking gases with this build. With DTs that are going to be building, you want those 3rd and 4th gases because this will not be an all-in. You will start to transition through from this point. So, as you see this from Scarlett, there we go, the gases get taken, and now she knows for sure, okay, well this is not super early aggression like last time. I will not cancel my lair, I will keep that. Overseers will be important. Oftentimes still just worth getting the Spore Crawler per base, just in case you don't have, just in case you have to run those, Spore Crawlers around is never too much fun, right? As the Warp Prism here heading up to the top side, 3rd hatchery from Scarlett, about halfway done. The Stalker able to deal some good damage, pushing the Overlord further over to the right, and a couple more DTs, well, a couple first DTs now warping in, so just 2 of them initially. Is this only 2 gates? It is. A little bit of a different build from PartinG, not going to all 4 gateways. It means it's a little less pressure early. Will, of course, the next warp-in be 2 more DTs. It just means you've got less DTs here right away, with obviously hitting with the first DTs a bit faster. Now Scarlett having the Overseers already on the way up means she's not going to lose too much. I mean, yes, this hatchery's taking damage. She shouldn't actually lose this, though. You can see the Lings coming in, and the DTs, they'll kind of play run around and what have you, but the hatchery's low, it isn't dead. And of course, as the game goes by, you'll get a transfuse or 2 you can drop on that. Yes, it's nice to have the hatchery at half health, but that does not in any way, shape, or form mean that this is going down. Now, that Blink is interesting. The Blink has a follow-up. Not a usual upgrade you see right away in ZvP, and oftentimes I would say that maybe means something aggressive here from PartinG as well, where he's looking to utilize the Stalkers early while they're still effective, and use them to kind of trade well against the Roaches in some sort of aggressive attack. And then the Spire from Scarlett means that the Blink's actually an amazing investment, so the PartinG a bit of a weird choice, and it's kind of hard countering, blind countering Scarlett, because he hasn't seen that Spire. This is just completely blind from him. Just the right decision already, as you do see one of the DTs dropping. There is the transfuse drop. This Queen's super low HP, so it's like, you know what, just going to use my energy to transfuse right away. Scarlett, I think, was a bit supply blocked there, so cancels the Queen and builds Nubitized Carapace instead. She's lost 7 drones, though, just DTs in a couple different places, adding up that damage. Now she's continuing to drone heavily, but you know what, I think Scarlett just dies to a follow-up attack when she's going Mutalisk, because if she makes these mutas, she's just going to be up against so much anti-air right away, and good anti-air at that as well. PartinG, 51 probes, not moving towards the 3rd base. She has to look at this and see, okay, 3rd base, 6 minutes is pretty late here. Archons dropping down in the 3rd, going to be seeing the Prism coming in towards the main base. Roaches picking away at the Archons, Overseer hanging out overhead, the rest of the Roaches moving around. Also the +1 attack on the Forge, and a few extra gateways dropping down in the main base also. 7 extra Mutalisks on the way up, as we do see the Archons coming around the top side in the Prism, and they are going to be not able to do much in the end. I mean, now as these extra gates come up, it does just feel like these mutas won't do anything, right? With Blink already out, decent amount of units looking to set up here. Doesn't feel like there's going to be much done in that regard at all, as a couple of Fruit Jammers do start to go down. 5 more Roaches on the way out, +1 attack upgrade on the Forge, and, well, the Roaches coming into the center of the map, just looking to try and keep that Prism denied. The Archons recall home. What did PartinG see to recall the Archons? I think he just knows it's Mutalisks, and so he's afraid. A, the Archons at home defensively are great, but B, afraid the Prism gets picked off by the Mutas. You can see initially his first 7 Mutalisks are doing nothing, and Scarlett's built more than that. She's building 2 more in the production tab as we speak. She'll finally start to cut a couple of probe kills here, but this is obviously about 1,000 investment for what, 4 probes so far? And not really much else, you know, she's not forced PartinG to go Blink. He wanted to go Blink anyways. So, not really loving the Mutalisk play at the moment. But, keeping most of the Mutas alive, hasn't lost one yet, means that at least she will get a bit more kind of, you know, a few better trades off of that still. And now going into Ling Bane, but also researching the missile upgrade, so we'll at least play into the missile initially. And then probably as she hits +1 missiles, go into +1 melee, and you know, especially as the Ling Bane count rises, melee upgrades really do wonders, especially +2 melee. We all know the magic of +2 melee when it gets to go up against the probe lines. One-shotting those workers is always a magical moment. So for the Zergers, flying in here, couple Mutilas now starting to drop. Well, I say couple, it's just one. There's just so many lower health Mutilas, which are kind of so close to dying, yet not being picked off, not being targeted down by the cannons they are flying through. As those meters go flying to the bottom left-hand corner, they are going to be hanging out over there for a little bit. Has the Warp Prism from PartinG. Still looking around the map. I mean, again, having to use it defensively, so that's one of the benefits these meters have created that I've not really picked up on so far. The fact that the Archons and the Prism are being kept at home, they're not out on the map harassing. So that's one of the benefits you do get from this. And Scarlett, by the way, if you haven't been watching her drawing count, it hasn't moved from 64 for a little while. So as she maxes out on Ling, Ravager, Roach, and obviously morphing in Banelings soon, she's going for one big burst to try and win this game. Have the meters slowed PartinG down enough? Has her initial defense given her enough of an advantage here? PartinG sees this coming, so he is fully aware of what is about to happen. And this is going to be PartinG's micro tested to the max. Stalkers will have to blink. Sentries will have to force field. The Prism will have to lift up units whenever possible to maintain as much as he can. Scarlett has a couple of options. She can bring some Banes up this right-hand side if she wants to go in for multi-flanks. That is a more force-fieldable area, but PartinG hasn't left anything over there, so it might have worked. Corrosive Bow's being saved for this moment where the Banelings want to get through, and the Archons, good splash on the Banes. Oh, the Archons actually soak a lot of those Baneling shots, but is it enough? There's just so many Ravagers here, Pylons, and, well, Shield Battery's being targeted down with the Biles. The Ravagers will turn away. When it's Ravagers on their own, the issue is, again, we talked about in the last game, they're flimsy, they're fragile. So Scarlett will back off, wait for more Lings and Banelings, and then go for round 2 of this. Now, with 0 force fields, those Banelings are likely to get in here and do a lot more. And I tell you what else is significant. Archon count completely depleted, only on 1 now, which has just finished morphing in. So no Archons, they were a major part of tanking a lot of those Banes initially and splashing down a lot of those Banelings to lower HP, so they were not able to connect as efficiently. As PartinG gets a few more Stalkers set up, the Roach Ravager pressing forwards here, and the Banes coming in from the top side. A couple of sentries being picked away at. Corrosive Bars will break the few force fields available. A few Zerglings from the back as well, just streaming in. The Banes go and cancel a bunch of shield batteries. I don't mind that decision, because obviously if the shield batteries get up, it gives you so much longevity on so many of these units. Man, the Prism's just not here, so these Immortals are just going to go down. Well, the Prism's just AFKing at the top of your screen. Without the Prism lifting up these Immortals, they're all going down, and Scarlett's picking off all of the Stalkers as well. 22 workers killed off right now. That third base may as well be forfeit. And we're back to what happened in Game 1, where there's just no tech units for PartinG, so Scarlett will just continue through with confidence. Those Ravagers can Corrosive Bar down pretty much anything they want to. If that Cybercore goes down, then you're only able to warp in Zealots. Zealots that don't even have charge. And then, Pew is in trouble. Well, his name begins with P, and it ends in Arting. And this PartinG is not going to stay in this game much longer. This third next is going to be targeted down. Nexus falls, Pylon picked off. A few extra Stalkers from PartinG warping in here at the front, and again, +2 melee, Pneumatized Carapace coming through, +2 missiles starting on the second Evo Chamber as well. Another round of Banes, Scarlett playing it safe, just waiting for the Lings and the Banes to back up these Ravagers. Because again, the Ravagers on their own, maybe the Stalker micro can pick those off, maybe then you can make a bit more of a defense. With the Ling Bane as well, giving you a front tanky line, and also putting out damage to the Stalkers, because let's face it, Stalkers don't do well against Lings. Scarlett's going to break through. Some fancy Stalker micro at the end there from PartinG, but it doesn't matter. He needed some better micro in the previous fight, and without that, it's going to be GG. Scarlett takes the 2-0 over PartinG to advance through to the next round of this qualifier, where she will play the winner of Estrella versus Maru. And that matchup, do we have a result from that just yet? Let me quickly check. Not immediately right away, but I'll let you guys know about that ASAP. Scarlett, 2-0 over PartinG.